Hey everybody, how we all doing tonight? It is Sunday, so very nice day up here at the homestead today. The weather was decent, so I hope everybody's doing well. Give it a minute to get a few more people to jump in here before we get rolling. Uh, anyway, I'd like to again in the beginning of all these shows, I'd like to say the same thing just to put it out there. I would hope that everybody's decent to each other in the chat. If you are not, I have my moderators that will ban you. You will be gone if you're not. So no racism, no silliness like that. I'm not gonna. It's just not gonna be tolerated. So if you have a legitimate question, I have no problem with that. Constructive criticism, I have no problem with that. But if you come on and just want to be a jerk, you're gonna get knocked off. So that's just how it goes. And so I just wanted to put that out there for everybody. So how's everybody? I hope everybody's doing well tonight. I'm back on the old format for right now. I switched it up. Mike was saying we're going to have to go to the new one at some point, which fine, we will, but right now, no. So, anyway, again, once I'm done talking and stuff like that, if you have a question, please all cap locks, okay? So, I've been watching a lot of video on the situation down in Venezuela. And, I think that a lot of people don't realize that, and they're dealing with rolling blackouts all the time. They're having problems. They've had problems where several days of power's been out and stuff like that down there. And I was watching some video, and it kind of struck home for a lot of the different things that were going on there and how that would correlate to up here in the United States. And one of the things that was showing was just checking something. One of the things that it was showing was the people they had no running water because the power was out. So that would have absolutely affect things here as well. And it showed in whatever city it was, and it had all these people lined up that were getting water out of springs and stuff like that. And just the basic thing of taking a shower. The guy was like, I just need to have water so I can take a shower. So I mean, if you think about that, and that is just that's kind of crazy. I mean, and like I said, we've had rolling blackouts here before in the United States. I mean, I know California had an issue a couple years ago. I think they had some or brownouts. They called them brownouts. But if you're looking at any kind of, do I have any control over the ads? None. No, I have no control over the ads that are placed on my videos. So they put whatever they want up there. Anyway, but when you have those type of issues and you're dealing with, people are not having that fresh drinking water, treated drinking water, so that it's not going to have issues and stuff like that. I've talked a lot about that. Did I ride today? No, I have to. I went to start my bike yesterday to go ride yesterday. I'll tell you this real quick, and I have to put put it on a trickle charge for a little while because the battery I hadn't started it enough over the winter and didn't have it on a trickle charge. So that's my own bad. But I will be. I would have been out today for sure. Today was absolutely gorgeous to go out and ride. It was like high 60s today here. I think it was like 66 maybe. So yeah. Did I go through the big blackout in the Northeast back in 2003? Yeah, I was in the Northeast. I was here. I remember. I don't think it hit my area like it hit some of the other places, but there's a lot like when you sit down and you think about it, and like I said, I saw these people at this spring, and like I showed one lady literally was just washing her hair right there on the spot, and hey, thank you, Tiffany, and welcome. Thank you for joining us. When you see that type of stuff, that really brings it to home to you. But I think about, okay, so now we're looking like a place like New York City. Now there's water all over the place, but it's all nasty. Hey, Randy, how you doing tonight? Hey, Jonathan, thank you very much for the donation, Jonathan. I appreciate that. Thank you. When you look at like a place like New York City, these people were getting water out of springs and stuff like that. And there's water all around New York City, but it's not water that I would want to drink. And so unless you, like I said, again, having some way to purify that water, you can have water all around you all you want. And if you don't have a way to purify it, you're going to be in trouble, with diarrhea and stuff like that. So that's like the biggest thing. A quiet generator I could recommend. I know that Honda makes some pretty quiet generators. If you look at them, they're more expensive, but it's a really good quality generator that you might want to look into something like that. But Honda definitely makes them. But so when you have that type of thing in New York City, where are people going to go to get that fresh water? So you're looking at a lot of issues in a really quick amount of time. I mean, you look what happens like with the different power outages that we have around the country. There's been times Anheuser-Busch has, or Budweiser or whoever have, instead of bottling up beer, they've bottled up water. We put water in cans and sent it to whatever area was affected, so that people had, clean drinking water. So I mean, think about that. Cholera, another aster. Yeah, there's, I mean, a lot of stuff, a lot of bugs and stuff like that in that water. So I mean, there's a lot of stuff that can do a lot of damage to you very quickly. And so those are things to think about as far as just that part of it goes. Now, depending on, like now down there, they're in Venezuela. It's hot down there, guys. It's not like it's nice and comfortable and, and stuff like that. Do I do any shooting or long range shooting? Yeah, I like to shoot. Roy, I definitely like to shoot. I enjoy it. But when you're looking at no air conditioning and that kind of heat, it would be like in the South here in the summertime. It gets pretty hot. I mean, it's hot up here in the summertime up in New York. So, but we're not used to the heat like it gets in the South. So, think about those different things and those different aspects. How would you stay cool? How would you, be able to, and that's going to affect the regulation of your body temperature as well. So, those are things that really need to be thought about ahead of time. And I don't think a lot of people think about those things. They just think about their immediate needs, and they don't think about, what could be affecting you. That power goes out, or if they have blackouts and it was going to be out for who knows how long. Again, if there was an issue. I mean, like, guys, I'll tell you what, our power grid, or our power grid is so antiquated. It needs a complete overhaul yesterday, not now, but yesterday. So really scary stuff. People in the South would be lose it quickly due to the heat. Yeah, and absolutely they would be in big, I mean, it's like what people don't understand. People in like third world countries, some of them don't have those luxuries of air conditioning and power on a regular basis and stuff like that. We are very spoiled. We're very used to having our creature comforts. And hey, Mountain Girl, how you doing tonight? I have the right P.O. box now, so package is out soon. Thank you for sharing with us. Well, thank you. And thank you for the donation as well. And I'm glad you got the right P.O. box now. That's cool. Thank you. But people really need to look at your situation, where you're at. What can you do to help yourself in that type of situation if that happens? Do you have enough fresh drinking water? And again, isn't it amazing when you go to the different sites and they tell you what you should have as far as supplies for fresh drinking water and all those type of stuff on hand? And so many people just don't. And so that's scary, guys. I mean, that is a scary situation. So, but anyway, looking at the situation down there, I want you guys, so here's like homework for you guys, if you will. I want you guys to go out, look at some of the video. It's all out there on the internet, guys. So type in Venezuela, power outages, how it affects the people, and watch what it's doing to people down there, okay? And do you think, number one, that people, especially in the cities, I mean, country's different, and I don't, I can begin to explain the ways, but country is different. But do you think that people in the cities would be as kind and compassionate to each other as they are in other parts of the world? I don't think so. You look at the way Japan deals with their problems. Do I believe in global warming? No, Faith, I do not. The planet goes through cycles, and I don't think cow farts or us putting different stuff in the atmosphere is going to affect it enough to completely change the weather. The planet has gone through cycles for millions of years. The planet warms up, the planet cools down. We've had ice ages, and that's all been proven. We've had really warm periods. I mean, so all that is going to affect what happens with the planet. And, you know, like I said, you go through phases where it's warmer, where it's colder. And so, no, I do not believe in global warming at all. Yep, Wolfgang just said Mother Earth does what she does. Exactly. And Mother Earth don't care about the people that are on this planet. Mother Earth is going to do what she's going to do. And, we're just in the way. There just happens to be, a few billion of us on the planet now, better than 6 billion people. So there's a lot more people that are going to be affected. An EMP would be a death sentence to millions. Absolutely, it would be. Absolutely. You could, depending on, you could be more than 100 million, more than 200 million. I mean, you figure they estimate that within a year in the United States that 90% of the people would be gone within the first year. Well, so now you're looking at a figure closer to 300 million people. So think about that. I mean, that would definitely drastically change the population in the United States. So, but the Earth has her own cycles, but we're the ones interfering with her cycles. Yeah, you know what? I don't think we are. I just, like I said, again, that's my opinion. I've looked at all the different research and stuff like that, and the whole global warming fiasco, and this is going to happen, and this is going to happen. Again, the planet's going to do what it's going to do, and are we using up a lot of resources? Are we destroying the water systems in our planet, and the oceans and all that type of stuff? Yeah, absolutely, we sure are. Do I have air conditioning? How do I stay cool? I actually do have an air conditioner that I've used once in the 4 years that we've been here. I plugged it in to see if it would work with my system, and it absolutely did. But because we have the house is shaded with trees, and so it actually stays cooler that way. We're really well insulated, and so basically I use a box fan in my window in the summertime, and that is enough to, Yeah, with 90% of the people dead, do you think the disease will be everywhere? Oh, absolutely. Think of all the bodies. You have a ton of bodies that it would have to be disposed of. But anyway, so we use a box fan. Like Heather will have a fan in her room, and Eddie has a fan in his room as well. So that's what we use. It never really, even when it's like in the 90s up here, it's not that bad in the house at all. So that's why, that's what we do. Also, I wanted to address something. I had like 3 comments lately, and I thought it was so funny. So you look at my walls, they're plywood, okay? So I had one guy say, oh, I see you have plywood on your walls. Is that up to code? There's no code that says I have to go with sheetrock on my walls. Everything is code. My electrical's code. My plumbing's all code. So that's all, good shape as far as that goes. Because I had a professional electrician come in and do that work. I had a professional plumber come in and do that work. So Nibiru, do I believe that Nibiru? Yeah, there's other planets out there in the system, guys. Absolutely. And it definitely will affect us. Absolutely it will. But anyway, so I was talking about the plywood, and it was just like the reason that I put plywood on my walls instead of sheetrock, I have my house up on blocks. So it's not on a foundation. So it's up on blocks. So it could shift. And if you have sheetrock and it shifts, it's going to destroy that sheetrock. So I went with plywood. I absolutely like the plywood, and so that's why I keep the plywood. So, but let's get back on topic here a little bit. Hey, Bob, Tom, thank you very much. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate that. There is no other planets. Somebody just said that. Well, again, good idea on the sheetrock. Yeah, or plywood versus sheetrock. Thank you, Angela. Like I said, I like it. It doesn't bother me. I'm like, we've been here and here. Let me explain to that. And again, it was a couple people had made the comment. The best part is it's all paid for. It's all mine. So, and like I said, I like it. So, I mean, it doesn't bother me. So I'm just used to it. That's just me. But anyway, let's talk about, let's a little more detail about the blackouts. People have questions about that, how it would affect, or how do you think that it would affect you? I'd love to hear your feedback on that, because it's like I said, this is something that's really, really serious, and I don't think a lot of people sit down and really look at stuff. You can hang as much stuff anywhere. Yeah, anywhere on plywood, absolutely. You can hang anything. Just get an eye bolt. I mean, part of the couple of my hangers are eye bolts. That's all they are. Yeah, Angela Baker just said an EMP is so serious. Absolutely it is. If you can generate ice and SHTF, it would be a huge barter item. Absolutely it would be. Yeah, I mean, if the grid went down and you were still able to produce ice, oh my God, you would be a freaking king, So, I mean, I have 2 full-size refrigerators that I have. I have one in the camper and we have one in the house. So, my family was ready when the 2003 blackout happened. Well, that's good. I'm glad that you were. A lot of people were not. How long have I been prepping? Oh, realistically, if I look back at it, pretty much ever since I was a kid, just because I was raised by my grandparents with the whole Great Depression thing. We always had, my grandparents always had a stocked pantry. So I grew up, that was very, very normal to have a good amount of supplies on hand. And so I always did. And, but with really get seriously into prepping, I would say Hurricane Katrina was the wake-up call for me. It really, really was. Wouldn't your system go down in an EMP? Yeah, if it was an EMP, absolutely my system would go down. Yes, it would. The blackout is not sure, needs some info. Well, like I said, if blackouts and looting, oh my God, that would be definitely. One of the things I want you guys to think about, okay? Right now, with rule of law, we're just going to go with the U.S., okay? With rule of law, look at how we treat each other, okay? I mean, we are horrible to each other now, with rules, with consequences for your actions. If there is a complete countrywide blackout, no power, not coming back on, they have no idea when it's coming back on, how do you think people are going to act then with no consequences for their actions? That's what you got to think about. And that's one of the reasons that they say that the death rate would be so high, because so many people would die just from violence alone. And, and you would have people, taking from people that they knew that had it or trying to, those people trying to stop them, so you're looking, at a very, very serious situation. You better get a good shovel on hand to bury the dead after the EMP drops. Actually, the better way to do it, to get rid of the bodies afterwards, would be to burn them. Absolutely, be the best way to burn them, is to burn them. Hey, Sal, there will come a time in the near future when the blackout and technology. Oh, I totally missed that. Can I go back up to that? Hold on a second. I want to go back and see what he said. Blackout will be the deliverance of humanity from the slavery of technology and the elite who run it. Yeah, thank you for the donation too. Yeah, it will change everything. It absolutely will change everything. But it's being able to protect yourself and those that you care about is going to be really, really important when this type of situation happens, guys. Trying to keep a low profile as much as you can is also going to be really, really important in that type of situation. So I want you to think about that, okay? There's a lot of things that can happen. We'll get my kids' faces out of the pan. Oh, get your kids out of the phones. Yeah, well, they like their phones. Kids are used to the technology, guys, now. That's just the way it is. Yeah, Wolfgang just said, think outside the box. You put yourself in that situation, and these are good exercises to have now in your mind while everything is fine, for the most part. Think of scenarios. What would I do? How would I deal with this situation? How would I deal with that situation? And those are things that you really want to look at. What do I suggest for lighting? One of the great things, okay, guys, they have, hey, Lauren Gibson, nighttime worries me the most with the blackouts. Yeah, I understand that, and thank you for the donation too, by the way. And it should. Nighttime would be a scary, scary time in a blackout situation because you don't know who's coming. But got me off track here. I was getting ready to answer another question, and let me go back up here and see if I can find that again. Oh, suggestion for lighting. Okay, so I have to go back. I'm old, so if I'm not on it real quick, I'll lose my train of thought. With lighting, a great way to do it, you know how they have, like, basically you can go to the Dollar General, any of these type of places. They have the solar lights. You can get those solar lights that just basically plug into, you put them in the ground. It's a great way for lighting. Okay. Somebody just said on here, oil lamps. Oil lamps are really, really good as well. You can get them fairly cheap. Buy extra wick. Make sure you have plenty of oil on hand, and that's a great way for lighting as well. Plenty of candles, guys. Lots of candles. Have lots of candles on hand. Have different ideas for lighting. Okay, you can take what was it? A can of I'm trying to think here. Hold on a second. Of Crisco. Okay, and if you put some kind of a wick in there, that'll burn for a really, really long time. One of the things. Yeah, the solar lights were used after the hurricanes. Absolutely. Yep, the dollar store ones. Yep, and they work great. Another thing, what I've actually picked up is they're about maybe like that big around, and just maybe like this high. They're 100-hour candles. It's in a little plastic container basically, and you light it, and that will burn for over 100 hours. So I actually have a whole case of those. I think I got like 12 of those. I'll pull one out sometime and I'll show you. Yeah, the cotton wick. Yeah, buy 100. This guy just said buy 100 feet of it. Yeah, you can. And if you had to, right, you could use motor oil as a fuel for that as well. It would work. But you're going to have a lot of soot and stuff like that with that. If you want to try to have something that's going to burn cleaner, so if you can go ahead and get the oils and stuff like that now that they sell for kerosene lanterns and those type, you can use a kerosene lantern. You can just use a regular lantern, and they have that oil that you can get at Walmart and stuff like that for that. It's made purposely for that type of stuff, and that would be a great way to have lighting as well. Oil lamps, I have, oh my God, I'm trying to think. Probably 7 or 8 of them, and I have a lot of the old style stuff too, that from literally the antique stuff from like the 1800s. I have those as well, which I think are really, really cool. So I do those as well. But prepping for infants. That's another whole topic right there. Yeah, prepping for infants is tough, guys. The biggest thing I would say for infants is cloth diapers. Have cloth diapers on hand, because the thing is, first of all, they can be used for a lot of other purposes. Cloth diapers can be, but people are not going to stop having children after SHTF happens. They're not going to stop. And so, a lot of times what's going to happen is people are going to seek comfort in sex. And obviously that's going to, they're going to end up making babies. So you're going to have children that are going to come after SHTF, and it's not going to, the infant mortality rate will definitely skyrocket. Why do you think back in the 1800s, they had 8 or 9 kids? Because if they had 8 or 9 kids and 5 of them made it to full adulthood, they were lucky. Diseases killed a whole bunch of them. So, but, stock up on baby stuff too, if you can. It's just another option. If you think that you're going to have children, or if you're at that age where you want to have children, people know how to make their own formula with a carton of milk or powdered milk. Yeah, exactly. Powdered milk is a great thing to have. Thinking of others said, heat rocks outside in a fire, then put them in your bed. Yeah, that's one way of doing it too. I'd rather just have a nice wood stove. But there's a lot of different ways, guys, that you can stay warm if you need to. There's a lot of different ways to stay warm. And that's another thing that will definitely be affecting in a blackout situation, depending on the time of year that it happened. If it happens in the wintertime, it gets cold in the south too. So, but in the north, if you don't, do I have a well on solar? No, my well is an artesian well. So that water's always coming up all the time, constantly coming up. And so now Jason just said here, old clothes can be very valuable. I save a lot of my old clothes because they could be converted into other things to use. If you got somebody that knows how to sew and stuff like that, again, those are good things, again, to have. Angela just said stocking up on 70% alcohol for heating and cooking. Absolutely. Not a bad idea to do. And you can use that as an antibiotic as well. I had a wood stove for years. I still wake up at like 2 a.m. like I should stoke it. Yeah, I'll tell you what. I absolutely love my wood stove. I couldn't even think about what life would be like without it. When I lived in suburbia, we had a fireplace in the house, and I ended up putting an insert in the fireplace because with a fireplace it was about 10% efficient. Once I put the insert in the fireplace, it took it up to I think 75 to 80% efficient. So we got more heat in the house that way, and it kept our gas and electric bills down in the wintertime when I was in suburbia. So that was definitely a cool thing. And when we got out here, that's all we heat with now is wood. So I love it. Yeah, save their old clothes. Like I said, if you have jeans, I just had a pair of jeans. When I what I do is like I'll have the regular jeans that I wear every day, and then if I'm working outside and stuff like that on stuff, then hey KY girl, how you doing today? Um, if you have like so I was out and I have those older jeans that I don't generally wear anymore because they've been torn or whatever, and I wear them out when I'm working on around the property. And I actually had a blowout on one of those here recently, but they're good. It's good to have because you can use them for patchwork. You can cut them up and use them for patches and all that type of stuff. I bought a wood stove for a tent, great to cook outside and for an emergency. Linda, that's a great idea to have, and I've talked about that as well. You could take that small wood stove that you could use for a tent and stuff like that. You could actually put that in your house, in a room, especially if like you're in the Northeast, and have it go out a window to vent out a window, and that would be a great thing to have as far as to try to, you know, stay warm in a situation where there's no power. That's going to be the biggest thing. Analog synths players, yeah, country people can survive, yeah, because we are geared to people live in the country, guys. I grew up, so people say, oh, you're a suburbia boy that went to the country or a city boy that went to the country. No, I grew up on a farm when I was a kid. We had a 72-acre farm with pigs and cows and the whole 9 yards. So I knew all those things as a child. And yeah, then as I got older, and I lived in the city for a while when I was younger, and I lived in suburbia, and I could not wait to get away from that again and have peace. And like where I am right now, it's very, very, very peaceful. Let's see. A zero dependency on electricity for a long-term contingency needs to be. Yeah, you need to make plans, guys. That if the power was going to go out, and this is one of the biggest things, and I use this as an example for a lot of people. And I want you guys to do this too. Sit down, think about this. If you are in a situation and okay, power goes out tomorrow and is not coming back on, how ready are you? Okay, so that's what you need to think about. How ready am I to deal with a lights out situation where the power is not going to come back on? And I think that a lot of people would see a lot of holes that they have. I mean, when I talk to people about that, they're like, oh, I don't have very much at all. And my thought process goes immediately, well, why not? Why don't you? And so somebody's talking about fish mocks on here. Yeah, like I said, I did a show on that. I don't know what channel he's talking about. If you send me a link, I'll contact him. Yeah, just send me a link, any kind of link that you guys want to send me anytime. Send it to my email, preppernurse1@yahoo.com. Right, Sonny just said you got to be careful with a wood stove, but in an emergency situation, you would do what you would have to do. So that would be, we're talking about an emergency situation where it would be life and death. You're going to have to do what you have to do. Bob Tom just said the Amish will not stand a chance with looters. No, they won't. Unfortunately, they would not. They are pacifists and they don't believe in violence, and they would definitely be a target. And I think that again, those are people. Now, somebody just said Ace of Spades says the Mormons will be all right. Yeah, the Mormons will shoot you in a heartbeat, but they're also prepared. They, part of their whole thing is to have a year's worth of food available. So, it's a very, very good thing to do. How do I feel about Mr. Buddy propane heaters? I have one. I have one. They're actually a good thing to have. They definitely will work. You got to make sure you got enough propane to work that though. So those little canisters, those 1 pound canisters, are not going to last all that long, but they're not a bad thing to have. So is spam good to stock? Absolutely, good thing. Very good thing to stock, David. Very very good thing to stock. I had not heard about the trucker slow roll on the 12th. Yeah, the wood heat is amazing. Yep. Oh my God, it's when you have wood heat, and then like I said, you're outside and you're doing whatever, and then you come in and that warmth just hits you. Like Heather will say, like today we don't have a fire going today. Obviously, it's in the 60s today, so it was nice. So we don't have a fire. But her automatic reaction is she walks over and stands in front of the fireplace, just because we run the fireplace so much for for the heat and cooking and stuff like that. I mean, we also have I have a gas grill, outside as well that we use. But do I honestly believe the Amish would let themselves be wiped out in SHTF? I would hope that they wouldn't. Hopefully they have enough contacts with other people that will offer protection. They have skills, guys, that are going to be very very good to have once SHTF happens, to learn from them. So yeah, Heather and I were just talking about the other day. She was saying that oh my God, Dad, only got like 2 months of school left, and I'm like, yeah, I know. Don't remind me. But yeah, the Amish, they're going to be in for some trouble. They're going to be in for some trouble when, you just there's a lot of good people out here, guys. A lot. There's a lot more. I mean, when we watch the news, what do we see on the news? We see negative, negative, negative. Okay, but I think for the most part, most people are inherently good. I'm giving you my opinion. Okay, so I think that most people are inherently good, and I think that people will try to work together and will try to help each other. I really, truly do. Now, will there be bad people out there doing bad, nefarious things? Absolutely, there will be. Okay, but I think, especially if bad people try to come out to the country, they're going to get their hands full in a hurry. Okay, so there's a difference with that. I think that country folk will really band together. I think you're going to see a lot of small towns wall themselves off and take care of their own. And so I think you're going to see that as well. I mean, now where I live, we have, we have a lot of Amish out in our area. So again, those would be people that you'd want to get some knowledge off of if you can, if they're willing to share that with you. The Amish are only allowed to use a panini press. Yeah, they don't use anything with electricity at all. I know that $700 a month for electricity. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I know that my one buddy was telling me that his gas bill alone was over $300 for the 1 month, and he doesn't tell me on a regular basis what his gas bills are, but just think about that every month. That's crazy. If SHTF happens, Simple Gale, actually, I'm going to make sure Heather has a bicycle, because that's going to be probably the best transportation that she could have in SHTF to be able to get it in and out. I think there'll be a lot of cars smashed up, down. She will definitely know how to get home. And so, yeah, she's going to have, her and I will be going over all of that way before school starts, but she will have a bicycle and definitely different routes on how to get home. So she will definitely be in good shape in that part of it. South Dakota. Okay, we got to do it again, guys. We got to do it real quick. Everybody give me a shout out for where you're from. Obviously, you guys all know I'm in New York. So if you want to tell me where you guys are at, so I can see where, because I know we had some Australia and some UK people from the last show. Because I know it's 5 hours later in the UK. Kentucky, Minnesota, Ohio, New Orleans, Pennsylvania, Houston, California, Canada, nice. Alabama, yeah, everywhere. I love it, guys. That's awesome. Absolutely awesome. And that's a beauty. Now look at all those different places where we're all from. Okay. And that is a New Zealand. Wow. Got somebody watching from New Zealand. That's cool. You know, so it's very, very cool. I love it that we have such a huge family of people that are getting ready all over the world, all over the country. That is really cool. Oregon coast, very cool. Orleans County, New York, huh? Okay. Central Florida, Louisiana, New Jersey, South Jersey, Arkansas, New Hampshire, Oregon. Man, all lots of different places. Somebody just asked, is there a limit on storing 20-pound propane tanks? No, you can have as many as you want. If you can do it, if you can get to 100-pound tanks, get to 100-pound tanks. That's the way to store it up. It's going to take up a lot less space, and they're going to last a long time. If you can do it, if you have an area where you can do that. If in an apartment, it would be a lot tougher. So, hey, there's Nashville. Very cool. I was actually down in Nashville many, many moons ago, and I went to the Grand Ole Opry, and I saw Lone Star and Shelley Wright were playing back then. So that kind of dates myself when I went there. It was a long time ago, but it was very, very cool. I loved it down there. Beautiful area. Oh, there's Scotland. Very cool. Welcome. Glad you stayed up to watch us, because I know, again, like I said, over there, it's a lot later for you guys. Oh, Finland. Very nice. What's the time in Finland? Survival Prepping 101 just said learning primitive skills is very, very important. It is. Having any kind of skills. There's a guy, a channel that I watch. The guy doesn't say a word, and he's over someplace, and I'm not even exactly sure where he's at, and he does a lot of primitive skills. Amazing to watch. Absolutely amazing to watch. And he's got like 9 or 10 million subscribers. It's crazy. I mean, this guy, like, he does videos and does never say a word. He just shows you how to do stuff. I miss New Hampshire, but not the snow. I don't blame you, Linda. Not a big fan of the snow myself. I was actually talking to somebody, I was talking to someone, they said, well, would you ever think about getting out of New York? And I was like, I would love to, but I'm looking at 4 more years of college for Heather after she gets done with high school, and I'm not going to move off while she's in college, so, and where am I going to be? How much better is my place going to be 4 years from now? That's what I think about too, And I said, so let's put it into perspective. So she gets done with high school in June, then she goes to college for 4 years. By the time she gets done with college, I'd be 58 years old. I want to start all over again at 58? Probably not. So, I'm probably here for the duration, unfortunately. Oh, very cool. Scotland, that's very cool. California and New York are the worst places to be. It depends on where you're at. Depends on what county you're at. Any state, guys, any state that you're in is going to have its pros and its cons. I mean, I don't care where you are. Okay, any state that you're at is going to have its pros and its cons. Once you get away from New York City, in Rochester and Buffalo and Syracuse, New York State is actually a gorgeous state. Really, truly is. It's beautiful. A lot of country folks, in New York. And so, are the taxes high? Absolutely. They're very, very high. And I had somebody who was like, oh, well, that's because they're fixing the road. Well, come and drive these roads and tell me how awesome our roads are. All the freaking potholes and everything else. But anyway, it's, again, there's pros and cons in every place that you go. And I just, even small towns can have their issues with people like the large cities have. Yeah, but the thing is, in a small town, here's the difference between a city and a small town. In a small town, you know who the players are. And if you have a local police force, they're going to watch the players. Where in a city, there's so many people. And there's great people in the city, guys, too. Please don't ever think that I don't think that there's great people in the cities, because I know that there are. But, it's the attitude in the country is just so different than even suburbia. The attitude is so different. And that's what I love about being, in the country. And so. Yeah, Texas has its own grid, which makes it good but also bad. Yeah, there's three grids in the U.S. Okay, there's the northeastern grid, there's Texas, and then there's the western grid. There's three grids. So if we have issues with any one grid, it's gonna affect everybody. I mean, like now if Texas went down, obviously it would affect Texas more, not everybody else. But it really. I live in a town too small and too small to have police. Yeah, but you got your the local police, your troopers and your sheriffs. They know who the players are. They always know who the players are. It's like when the police came here with that whole swatting incident that happened here at my home. The cop, actually, the one trooper lived in my area where I live, and he said. He goes, well, how long have you been here? And I told him almost 4 years. And he was like, well, I've never dealt with you before. I go, yeah, because I mind my own business, and that's the whole difference. If you keep your head low, mind your business, take care of your stuff, nobody's going to bother you, and that's the important thing. I wanted to address this real quick too. A lot of people had a lot of comments about the whole incidents and how they would have handled it, and the whole situation. And then I probably had about 4 or 5 people that told me that I made the whole thing up and that I was doing it for likes and subscribers, which is total BS because, first of all, there's a police report. So anybody out there who's a hater knows who I am. Time is now 3:39 in Finland. Wow. Thank you. And thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. That's wild. Yeah, I knew it was a lot later for you guys over there. But there's a police report for what happened. I don't lie. I don't make stuff up. I'm not looking to just try to get new subscribers and people to watch a video. I would never do that. So, when people said, oh, and again, it was probably 3 or 4 people, and it's probably haters anyway. So who really cares what they think? But I just kind of laughed at that. It was like, you would have to be, and then I actually had somebody said that I called the police on myself. Like, yeah, okay. It's absolutely nuts. People are going to hate. That's the way it is. A lot of it's jealousy. But if any of my haters are watching this show tonight, I just want to say one thing to you guys. Thanks for watching, because you're helping the channel. So, and that's the other thing I truly don't understand about haters. They hate you, but they keep watching you. It doesn't make. I have channels that I don't care for. Guess what? I don't watch those channels. There's so much stuff out there on YouTube to watch, and so that's pretty funny. I don't know if the swatter got caught or not. I called on. Hey, Rolling Homestead and Wild Edibles. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, and thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. I called on Thursday to the investigator, and I have not heard back from him again. So I'm probably going to call him again tomorrow to try to find out if they caught the person that did this. And so I will definitely get another call out to them. But I had not heard back. I called on Thursday, and I hadn't heard anything yet. So I hope they catch him, and I hope the person that did it goes to jail for a very long time. So that's, because it's like, it was a very, very surreal situation. I mean, unless it happened to you, it's just, I don't even know how to explain it. It was very, very crazy. So you have 803 people watching. Well, it's now down to 787. So, but yeah, I think that's the most we've ever had, guys. So yeah, it's a new record as far as people. Swatters deserve to go to prison. Absolutely. I mean, it's like they're setting you up so that you could get hurt, and I don't think that that's funny at all in any way, shape, or form. So, Andrew said he got swatted, so he knows what I mean. Yeah, it's very. When it happens to you, it's like, first of all, I was shocked that it happened to me. I'll be honest with you. And so people had said, these were a couple of the comments. So we'll talk about that for a second. I want to talk about some of the comments from that. What's a swatter? Somebody that calls the police saying that they're you and saying that you've done some nefarious stuff. So they have the SWAT team come in and while you're doing your live stream. That's what they call swatting. But so anyway, a couple of things, like people say, oh, how did they know your address? Anybody that dislikes you guys, any information on anybody can be found out at any time. I mean, anybody that's on here, unless you're running the Tor program. Okay, go ahead, Bubba. Hey, Thomas Turner. Oh, thank you very much, and thank you for the donation too. He says, "Glad you're getting noticed. Stay ready." Yeah, exactly. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Um, but guys, it's like, so I had several people say, "Oh, well, you should get off of social media." Well, first of all, hey, Crazy Scott, thank you very much. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate that. Um, you know, they said you should get off of social media. Well, if you do that, guess who wins? Those people that play those games. Haters are not going to win. That's just the way it is. I am a very stubborn individual, and I will never let the haters win. The other thing is they were asking, well, how did they get your information and all this type of stuff? And you know, other channels who do live chats would be static. Yeah, exactly, because it's like less competition. So, but anyway, you hear the pup because he heard you come in the back door. Um, so anyway, your haters. Yeah, here, hold on, pup. Your haters are going to find out where you're at anyway. They're going to know where you're at. There you go. You're giving the high sign.
Got him.
What is it?
It's like the surfer game, like.
Oh, the got him game. Yes.
Like if you're like
flinch.
Or like you have to punch.
Yep, that flinch game. Yep, it's funny. I played that game a long, long time ago. I think I probably told you guys that when we were younger, and I was an instructor. Believe it or not, I was in really, really great shape, and I was Bailey's Holiday Health and Fitness, and we called it the flinch game. So you would have to you made that circle like that, and you would you'd put it down, and if somebody looked at it and saw it, what you had to do is you would punch them. Then for the way you had to do it is okay, and you had to do it in sequence, because if you didn't do it in sequence, then they got to punch you. You had to X the spot, you had to punch it, and then you had to wipe it away. Stupid, I know, but it was just a game that we played. Eddie looks like a skater. Yeah, you like the hair? He decided he wanted to grow his hair out. I've been shaving his head forever and a day, and so he wanted to grow his hair out, so I'm letting him grow his hair out. Why not? Hey, Lori, Hudson Valley, New York. That's not, well, it's kind of far from me, actually. So, no wonder you got swatted a while back. Well, because they know where I'm at? Probably. I mean, the thing, people are going to do what they're going to do. And unfortunately, I love how your cat snuck in your video on pasta. Yeah, I know. And then I had the puppies in the background too. Yeah, my animals are all over the place. They're part of the family, so they're awesome. I love my pets. Very, very lucky in that aspect. About half of what you share, parenting and child, only 3 years old. My ex and I think I'm crazy. I have to work 40 miles from my son. You have to walk? Wow. That'll definitely keep you in shape. That's for sure. Walking that far. People are always going to think you're crazy. If you prep, guys, this is what I think is funny, is the attitudes of other people. And I get it with my own family members. I get it with friends. They think you're nuts. But the funniest part about that is, I had a buddy of mine. He's and in a way he's right, and this is kind of funny in a way, but in another way it's not. He said, in a way, he said, you hope SHTF happens just so you can say I told you so. And it's funny because he knows me so well that I would be like that. I would be like, so was I right? And they would have to acknowledge that I was right, But so yeah, it's but in seriousness, I mean, I hope nothing ever happens. I really, truly do. The original video game Pong, I sure do. That's a few years ago. It would take 20 years to harden the grid countrywide. Absolutely, Bob Tom, it would. And we kind of talked about that in another video. And basically what I said, I would pick spots strategically on each coast and harden those cities first. And that's the way I would do it first. I would absolutely do it that way first. So, yes, I'm getting on here. People are saying, please hit the like button. So if you would do that, guys, I would appreciate it. Definitely. It looks better, more likes I got. So if you could hit the like button, I would appreciate it. Thank you. Well, and here's something I want you guys to remember too. We're only crazy with prepping until something happens. Then we're the smartest people in the room. And, prepping is, you can use it as a hobby, a way of life. For me, it's a way of life. I enjoy doing it because I do plan on helping a lot of people if I can. And that's important to me. I want to help as many people as I absolutely can. And so that's one of the reasons why I prep. That's why I do what I do with YouTube. Try to share with people, show people that, I'm just an average guy. I don't have a tremendous amount of skills as far as, like, I'm not a carpenter, I'm not a plumber, those type of things. But, I have a determination to do this. And a lot of people that go off grid and try to live the lifestyle fail within the first year. A lot of them do. A lot of them go in there, delusions of grandeur. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be great. It's going to be easy. And it's not. It's a whole different mindset, and so it has to be part of a passion for you. For me, it's a passion. And, like I said, coming up in June, it'll be 4 years that we've been off grid now, which it's amazing how fast the time has flown. And, but if you do it, go in with your eyes wide open. The biggest thing, like with anybody, if you're looking to go off grid and you're looking to start living that type of a lifestyle, the things that I would suggest to most people would be roll with the punches, because things are going to come up, things are going to change, and it's not as easy as you think, and there's going to be roadblocks that come up, and you have to deal with them. So, but it's well worth it in the long run. It's well worth it, and I love it. So, so I want to show people that it's, Hey Scott, thank you again. Thank you for the donation. Well, I hope you do. I mean, I learned from you guys too, to be honest with you. The chickens will like Eddie's hair. I'm sure they would. I don't know what the heck that person is saying. Chevy Chick Challenge. I don't know what he's talking about there. But anyway, with prepping, guys, again, and I've talked about this a lot of times, I don't want people to prep out of fear. I want you to prep because it's the smart thing to do. It's better to be ready for any kind of an emergency, because most likely it'll be for an emergency situation as opposed to an SHTF situation. But again, that SHTF situation, talking about the coop. The chicken mansion will hopefully be working on that again this week. We got a lot of rain in the forecast, so I don't know how that's going to play into it. But my chickens they're going to be well off. Well, and here's the important thing too with the chickens, guys, because people are talking. If chickens are warm and you got a light in there for them and stuff like that, they're going to lay even in the winter. So when does the expression of the solar begin? I'll do some videos on solar, guys. We're going to be doing, or the expansion. When does that begin? He's asking me. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm like going blank here. We're going to be doing that hopefully the end of the month. That'll be starting going May at the latest. So, that's, we're going to that's going to get done this year. That's one of the projects that are absolutely, because the chicken coop was getting done this year. The solar rack, the new solar rack that's going to go in is going in this year. Like I said, I have 300-watt solar panels that are sitting on the side right now waiting to go up. So, I can't wait to get them up. I can't wait to get the new solar rack in, and have everything, none of it shaded, all of it ready for winter months as well. So I'm really excited about that. And, but again, with prepping, don't do it out of fear. Do it because you want to be prepared for whatever's going to happen. And how far you take prepping, guys, is completely up to you. If you want to be a 2-week survival prepper type of person and have 2 weeks worth of food and water, and then have other supplies with that ready to go, it gives you an advantage over 95% of the people in this country. I mean, think about that realistically. To have that kind of an advantage over most of the people in this country is huge. It's absolutely huge. He says, Edward Wilcox just said, I'm living with 400 watts of solar and 1 turbine for the last 4 years. Wow. Yeah, but I have two teenage kids that really want power. So, um, but if I didn't have the kids here, the system that I have right now in place would probably be more than enough. I would probably still tweak it anyway because I would want it to be better. But again, it's like with anything else. It's you have to wants and needs, and it comes down to that with anything in life, guys. It's want and need. What do I want and what do I need? Can I survive on this? Yes, but do I want to make my life better, more comfortable? Sure, I think we all do. So let's see. Yeah, medical skills will definitely be invaluable after SHTF happens. We kind of talked about that. I talked to my one buddy. He said, "You're not going to be a nurse anymore after SHTF. Now you're the doctor," and it's kind of right. You know what I mean? The people that have those skills are going to be in high demand, and they're going to be really helpful for any group. Oh yeah, like well, okay. So here's a great comment. We'll talk about this for a second. So going back to blackouts, and with no power, now you have the toilets. You can't flush the toilets. How are you going to get rid of all that waste? And then a lot of times, what you're going to have happen is people are still going to use those toilets, and then that waste is going to back up. So you're going to have a lot of issues with with that type of a situation as well. And again, what does that breed? Disease, all kinds of stuff. So you're looking at like the Black Plague that happened in Europe was from a rat with fleas, and the fleas jumped onto people, bit the people, and that's how they got the Black Death. That's how it all started, and it spread to the known world at that time, and the loss of life was just tremendous. How long can you store cases of water? What I would do with water, like if you're having cases of water, put them into a rotation, and say you want to have 10 cases of water on hand at all times. So like 24 bottles of water in each case, and you wanted to have 10 cases of water. If you drink bottled water, I used to do nothing but when I lived in suburbia, that's all I drank was bottled water. Okay. So what I would do is you drink the oldest water first, and then as you're drinking that case of water, you replace it with a new one, and just keep that rotation. So once you get up to your and I'm using 10 cases as an example, but that's the way to do it. So that water is always going to be fairly fresh. You can store water in 55-gallon drums. The big plastic ones that they have that are made for that type of stuff. If you're going to do that, my suggestion to you would be to rotate that out every 6 months, dump that water out and put fresh water in. Again, there's a lot of different ways to do that, but if you're going to go with bottled water, that would be the way that I would do bottled water. All cases of water contain fluoride. You're right, they do, Trace. Absolutely, they do, and that's why I drink nothing but well water now. Oh, you're in Tioga, Livingston, so you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, New York is beautiful, guys. I mean, if you get a chance to come up and visit, I mean, it is an absolutely beautiful state once you get away from the cities. Now, if you're a city person, you like that lifestyle, and you want to go out there and have fun, that's fine too. Like I said, I'm a diehard Yankee fan, and so I'm going to have to toot that horn a little bit today with a 15-3 win down there in Baltimore. 7 home runs for the Yankees today, so they were freaking putting on the power display. They got an unbelievable team. They really do. Even with the injuries, they still have a really dangerous lineup. But yeah, I've gone to New York City and watched the Yankees play. Now, I have not been to the new Yankee Stadium yet. I've been to the old stadium, but I love it. I have one 55-gallon water drum up high, and it drains through a filter system. Oh, very cool. Smitty just said that. Very, very cool. That's the way to do it. Yep. Yeah, go Yankees. Absolutely. I'm diehard, guys. I mean, I love my Yankees. And Gary Sanchez is going to have a year this year. He put 3 out today, which gives him 6 already for the season. He's going to have a year. He had a bad year last year. I think he's going to have a monster year this year. Red Sox, I'm only kidding. You know what? Greatest rivalry in baseball, Yankees and the Red Sox. Greatest rivalry in baseball. And here's the thing: what I love is being able to BS with like a Red Sox fan and go back and forth. Now, recently, Red Sox have had the upper hand. I'll give them that, but we'll count the rings. That's all I'm going to say as far as that goes, and nothing you can do about that. I even start charcoal. Yeah, charcoal's a good thing to have. Absolutely, absolutely. I'll tell you what, like one of the guys there, I'll give you a quick shout out to him, David Ortiz, class player, guys, wonderful person, did a lot for the city, great class player, uh, killed the Yankees, and but just a really just like Derek Jeter, same thing, class act, and I have so much respect for guys that play the game the right way and are not me players. So yeah, and like I said, you got to give respect where respect is due, and I always will. But like I said, I've been diehard Yankees since I was probably 9 years old. So, but there's a lot of Cal Ripken's another one, another class act. I mean, down in Baltimore there. I mean, for years and years and years. Breaks my heart that he broke Lou Gehrig's record for games plays. Now there's one record that'll never be broken again, guaranteed. Yeah, the Iron Man, absolutely. Yeah, unbelievable if you think about how many years in a row he played, and crazy. But anyway, yeah, it's dry bags make great laundry machine in an emergency. Very good, very good. Yeah, absolutely. Can garbage can, guys, galvanized garbage can. You turn that into a washing machine in an emergency situation with a bicycle. Get it so that you can spin it. There you go. You got a washing machine. So almost time to see you all Wednesday. Well, I've been running. I ran over a little bit last time. I might run over a little bit more tonight again. I got to really not have to try to be so locked into that 9 o'clock time frame. So I'll give you a few extra minutes tonight just to. What are your thoughts at gas masks? Very good to have. I have them here. You never know when you might need something like that, depending on how the air is outside or what's going on. And so definitely, I think you should have a gas mask. There's all kinds of different ones out there that you can get. Definitely have more than one filter. So do you believe in the Truman movie theory? No, I don't know, not at all. Nobody's watching us like we're a show. I don't think so. Getting my go bag together for my family. It's very good to do, Jason. You guys, all of you out there should have a go bag, and you should have another one in your car. Definitely keep supplies in your vehicle. I always keep supplies in my vehicle for an emergency situation. Definitely smart to do, and but have a go bag in your house that if you had to get out the door, and the only thing you had time to grab was that one bag, definitely good to have. And so definitely make sure you guys have that, and have it for your kids and stuff like that. If you need a gas mask, your garden has probably been compromised. Absolutely, you're right. Yep, absolutely. So it's what we got here. Does Heather have a go bag? Every one of us do. All three of us have. I have actually backpack or like a camping hiking bag type of thing that you strap over your shoulders, and it's got the clip that goes around your waist. And so yeah, we all have our bug out bags. So they're yeah, mountain girl. That's okay, no problem. It happens. But what are my thoughts on cryptocurrencies? I'm not going to have. I don't like them, to be honest with you. I know some people do. Some people have made money. Some people have lost money. But if it's not tangible, that I can't have it in my hand, I don't want it. So that's just my thing. Would outdated water be okay if you ran it through a Berkey? Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. If you ran it through a Berkey, it should be fine. Yep, absolutely. Do I use golf cart batteries to store the energy? I did when. Good question, JJ. I did when I first started. I used T105s when I first got going, and then what I did actually is when I updated my system, and I went from a 12 volt system to a 24 volt system. I sold those T105s actually to another YouTuber, and I gave him a great deal actually on that for those batteries. He got a very good deal on that, and so then I went to I use Trojan uh, L16E batteries. They're probably about that high. If you can see here, they're pretty about 100 pounds a piece. These batteries are. They're very very heavy, and so they're real good to have, and they work really really well. And I've been using them ever since. And we changed out those batteries like that first spring after we got through our first winter, and so you know, outdated bottled water tastes like petroleum. I have no idea. I we used to, like I said, we used to use it as we drank it all the time, so we always had it in our rotation. Have I made homemade soap? I have not yet. That's definitely something that I want to do. So I think I want to. Maybe we can do that experiment this year, and I'll do it. If I do it, I'll do it on video. But you know, where can you get expired gas mask? Okay, where can you get? Oh, not expired gas mask filters. Any online, guys. Everything's available online. So you can get gas masks. You can get. There's all kinds of different gas masks out there. Again, the more you pay for a quality gas mask, again, that's going to be your call. So I know it's over an hour. It's okay. It's okay. I'm letting it go over a little bit longer. So I'm not going to try to stay locked into just that hour. So if you want to come to the homestead, we could do a show on making soap. That would be very, very cool. I would love that. That would be awesome. If you don't mind being on video, we could do that. That would be a lot of fun. What states still allow collection of rainwater? I know we do here. We can collect our own rainwater. I do. I have a 550-gallon storage tank that I collect the rainwater off the roof, and I use that for my garden. So that's what I use that water for. Because I have my well and stuff like that, so I don't have to worry as far as drinking water and water washing up and stuff like that. Well, guys, at this point, I am going to cut it down here for the night, and I'm going to say good night. You know, I think I mentioned, I don't know if I did or not, I just want to mention it real quick. On the website, we have a sale going on right now, 20% off of everything. That's going to run through until Sunday night at midnight, East Coast time, 3 a.m. West Coast time. The discount code will be on the top. So if you're interested and you want to pick something up from the homestead, we have T-shirts. We now have stickers, bumper stickers, and stuff like that, decals. We also have, like I said, the legacy food. We have the T-shirts and we have the coffee mugs. And we're going to be expanding slowly, but we will be expanding. So anyway, so go check that out if you're interested. Remember, guys, we're all in this together. That's important to remember. So stay focused, and you guys will be good to go. Remember, hug and kiss the ones you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow's not guaranteed, so we never know what's going to happen in life. So that's really, really important to remember. And remember, STD, guys, it's one step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you're trying to accomplish, whatever you're trying to do, you can do it. The only one that can stop you from getting there is yourself, okay? I hope everybody has a great night, and I will see you all tomorrow. Have a good one.